Hello and welcome to Find It, Fix It, Flip It, episode 4. This is a series where I buy broken items, attempt to fix them, and then try and flip them for as much money as I possibly can. And if you remember, in the last episode, I repaired a Xbox One X and put that onto eBay, and that has already sold. And it sold for a grand total of £165. So I paid £85 for it, and I sold it for £165. Let's head over to the computer and we'll do a breakdown of the fees, shipping costs, and everything else what was involved in that repair. Before we do that, I do want to tell you about today's sponsor. Find It, Fix It, Flip It is proudly sponsored by PCBWay.com. PCBWay is the all-in-one solution for custom printed circuit boards, SMD stencils, flexible printed circuit boards, advanced PCBs, and even CNC and 3D printing. PCBWay are also proud to announce that they are now offering various different colours of solder mask when going through your order process. So on top of the standard colours, you can also get a transparent, purple, matte black or matte green. PCBWay also offer various different options such as up to 30 layer advanced PCBs, various different types of material, various thicknesses and minimum tracks and spacings. Simply head over to the link in the video description to start your custom PCB order and get your next project off the ground. Now back to the video. Okay, so if we take a look on the spreadsheet, then we can see everything what we've done so far. So we had the Xbox One S digital motherboard that sold on eBay. We had the Xbox One 1TB with 3 controllers. We sold the Xbox One and 1 controller for £90 on Facebook, and I've still got 2 of those controllers, so I still have those in inventory. I then bought a Xbox One S 1TB, which unfortunately I couldn't fix, so I did decide to take a few of the components from it and basically use them myself. So that was the donor motherboard and the 1TB hard drive. So that gave me a little bit of money back towards the challenge. I also have the official docks, which I haven't actually repaired yet. And I have ordered some things off AliExpress. I've ordered some M92 T37 chips for them because that's one of the common causes of no power. So I bought a few of those and they should be here in the next 3 or 4 days. I then bought the Xbox One X 1TB for £80, £79.99, and I sold the Xbox One S digital board for £50, and also I bought an Xbox One S motherboard. That's not here yet. I sold an Xbox One X 1TB for £165, and here's the fees that was involved in that. I haven't actually shipped it yet because the person doesn't want it shipping for another couple of days because he wants to try and get a Saturday delivery. So that sold late last week, and he wants me to ship it on Friday this week, so I'll be doing that. I then bought another Xbox One S motherboard. That's not here yet. I've also bought a Xbox One Elite Series 2 controller for £20. That's not here yet. And I've also bought an Xbox One X for £80. So negative £80 on that there, and also I need to add £5 for fuel. It was 18 miles and then 18 miles back, 36 miles. So I'm going to add £5 for fuel. Get around about 45 miles to the gallon, and it's around about £7 per gallon. So I'm going to add £5 for fuel. That's not an exact price, that's just what I'm guesstimating that it cost me. And that needs to be a negative. So as you can see here, we have quite a few things actually. We have a boxed Xbox One X with controller. We have an Xbox One Elite Series 2 controller, 2 Xbox One S motherboards, and we also have the docks as well and the 2 controllers. So we've got quite a bit of inventory now, and things are starting to look good, because if I can fix this Xbox One X, then I should have some nice cash in the bank. We've still got £10.98 total. So the sum for this is B22 to G22. So as you can see, I just basically took these here, and well, it was to there that I put it. So I selected all of this, and then I just did auto sum. This one here is an auto sum of whatever's in this column here, and this one here is an auto sum of whatever is in this column here. So basically, auto sum this column, auto sum this column, and then auto sum this row, and it leaves us with £10.98 according to Google's spreadsheets. So £10.98 cash in the bank, but we've got things to fix. So let's get to it. So like I said, I did go and pick up that Xbox One X in person, and I did film the journey. However, most of the audio is unusable. Unfortunately, I was using my overhead camera as a vlogging camera. That is actually what it's designed for, and it didn't record the audio. So the battery died, and I switched to my phone, and then my phone started recording audio. So I recorded some of the journey back, and unfortunately the journey there isn't usable. We brought the Xbox One X with the controller. This is a little bit messed up. Let's have a look at this first, and then we'll look at the Xbox One X that's in the box. Let's see if we can do anything with this. We might not be able to. It might need a new mid-frame. In that case, I might just part it out. I might see if it works. If it works okay, part it out, sell it on eBay. Why not? Okay, so the thing that's apparently wrong with this is that the screw has apparently gone all the way through the frame, which is kind of unusual. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. So let's just see what happens with it when I... yeah, I can see it's been pushed through. It looks like someone's rage quit or something. Alright, well, let's get the rest of it off then. Let's take it apart properly, and then I'll try and straighten it out and see what happens with it. See if there's anything else wrong with it. If there's anything else wrong with it other than that, then I'm probably just going to part it out because it's not really going to be worth fixing. So let's just get these screws out. Let's take this side off as well. There we go. I always forget about that screw in the middle. Never mind. So the way that I do these is I basically pick away at the sticker a little bit, and then if I get some tweezers, peel that sticker back. And then I can remove the screw, and the sticker is undamaged, which means that I can just stick it back down and everyone's happy. There we go. Alright, so let's take a look at this outer case then. So we've got this screw stuck in here. But it's not stuck in there, it's just been pushed through the frame, which is, like I said, kind of weird because this never usually happens. Or at least not to what I've come across anyway. But then again, I don't really fix controllers. Not anymore. They're not worth it. Not to me. Alright, so we need an analog for this anyway. Because the analog there, that thumb grip, is a little bit worse for wear. Let me see if I've got one spare. Even if it's in worse condition than this one. Or even if it's in poor condition, at least it'll be usable. Alright, no, unfortunately I don't have one immediately available. So, what I can do is, if I just put this back together enough to give it a quick test, what I might do is I might see if it's going to work. Now, I'll see if there's anything wrong with it. If it's got, you know, stick drift, then we can fix that. So if it's got a little bit of stick drift, I'm fine with that. But what I can do is just see if there's anything wrong with it. And if there is, then basically I can fix that and see if it's going to be worth me buying an analog stick and, or rather a thumb grip and a back cover as well, because the battery door is missing. So they're going to be fairly cheap to buy. They're going to be like £2, £3, something like that. So it might be worth actually buying those just to be able to sell the controller. And I do have controllers that I can put with that Xbox, which I didn't pay that much for. I paid like £23 if I include the cost of the parts. So I do have a couple of those controllers still available, which I can use. And this feels like it's actually gone back together okay on that screw, which is good. So obviously not too difficult. This does need a good clean as well, this controller does. So if it's going to be worth fixing, like I said, what I'll do is I'll order the parts, and then when it comes to changing them, I'll give it a clean out at the same time. But for now, I'm just going to pop them back together. There we go. And let's get some, well, let's get a cable and hook it up to the computer. Let's see what happens with it. Okay, it turns on. Well, that's good. It does turn on. Okay, that's just a charge cable, so that's not going to sync the controller to the computer, but this one here will sync it to the computer. This one carries data as well as power. So let's just see what goes on with the controller. I mean, I don't think there's going to be that much wrong with it, to be honest. Okay, it does sync. There we go. It does indeed sync. Let's switch over to the desktop a minute. And I'm going to use something called Game Controller Tester. This is pretty decent. Alright, let's test the buttons. A bit sticky, needs a clean, but it does work. Actually, let's go back and let's go to test options. Vibration. Okay, the vibrate on that's a little bit loud. I might need to change that, but I should have some of them lying around. The right one's fine. Back buttons work. Two middle buttons work. D-pad. Yeah. No drift. So it's a little bit juddery because I'm finding it difficult to actually hold on to the grip. Whereas that one's fine because there's a grip there. Alright, there's no drift on that. That's quite surprising in a pleasant way. So there's no drift. It works. It's gone back together absolutely perfectly. Literally all I need to do to this is change these two thumb grips, give it a clean, and put it back on it. Oh, and that vibration motor as well. Just need to have a look at that. But I've got some spare vibration motors I can replace that with. It's a little bit loud. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to fix this. I'm going to order some parts in a minute, and we'll get that fixed. It's worth fixing. It is worth fixing. Sweet. A little bit of a scratch on there as well. It's a little bit annoying, but it's all good. Okay, we'll put that to one side. Okay, let's go to eBay. Xbox One controller thumbsticks. There they are, £2.45. Look at that. £2.45. Oh, £1.95. Cheaper version. Huh. Don't like the sound of that. Let's have a look. Got the red ones. Don't want red. We want to keep these official. Restore it back to factory. And £1.99 for those ones. Right, that's the same company. What's the difference? 5p. Oh, is that the new style grip? No, they're the same. What? Please note these are the cheaper version. It's a thumb grip. You know, I trust Game Gear. I trust Game Gear. That listing that I've just seen from that Ecotech company. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the more expensive ones. I trust Game Gear. Okay, I'm going to buy those. Add to basket. Yeah, it seems a little bit. But I think these are the. Oh, it's Ecotech again. I genuinely distrust that company just based on what I've just seen. I think they're 3D printing some of this stuff themselves. Oh, two back cups. Hang on, have I not got it back? Yeah, I've got some. Guess what? I've still got the ones from these ones. These controllers, I don't know if these are going to be worth fixing. I mean, there's a little bit too much wrong with these. So I'm going to hold on to them, but I'll use one of these back covers. Because why not? Oh, there's my rechargeables. I was looking for them. Yeah, I'll use one of them. And yeah, I don't think these are going to be worth fixing because these are the old 1697 model. And they need, like, you know, they need a really good clean for a start. They need, you know, replacement tops. They need replacement buttons. They need replacement thumb grips. Yeah, I don't know if these are going to be worth fixing. But I'm going to steal the back door off it. Why buy one? I've got one. Why buy it? I could fix those up and use them as test controllers. You know, it's probably the best option. So I've now got a back for this. Let's pop that back down. So I'm going to order some new thumb grips for this, and then this will be good to go. There we go. That's official as well. Cool. Right, okay, so let's look at the main thing that I bought for this episode. It's a boxed Xbox One X. And what's more, it comes with everything. Right now, we're in October. It's the perfect time to be buying this sort of stuff to actually fix up and sell because it's nearly Christmas. And that means that people are going to be looking for this sort of stuff boxed to buy as Christmas presents. So, shouldn't have any problem at all selling this. So, the listing didn't really say what was wrong with this. All it said was that it was faulty. So, I contacted the seller. There was 12 minutes left on the auction. These are heavier than I remember. But I contacted the seller and I basically said, look, I'm interested in this. Number one, what is wrong with it? And number two, can I come and collect it? And he didn't reply about collecting first. And then obviously I got a reply about the console. He said, oh, it just doesn't display on the screen. I said, fine, that's absolutely fine. I'll bid on it. Can I collect it? You're local to me and it wouldn't take me long to get to you. And we agreed on a time. I went down there last night and picked it up. And here we are. So the good thing is it comes with cables. And not only cables, it comes with official cables, which is awesome. So big thank you to the seller for letting me collect it. Obviously, you know, time is of the essence with these challenge videos, and I want to get things as quick as I can. So yeah, apparently this has got no display. It does look like it's been opened, but I'm not really bothered about that too much. Let's just have a look and see what's going on, and then we'll see if we can get it working. So I'm going to plug in a power cable. And I'm going to grab my HDMI cable. This goes to my TV. Turn it on. Does turn on. That's good. So let's have a look and see if it displays on the screen. And it shows no signal. Okay, well, should be relatively straightforward, hopefully. Let's give it a wiggle. So I'm just wiggling the HDMI cable here. And we still get no display. So I'm going to leave it for 20 seconds or so, just see if it wants to turn off. If it turns off, then it's likely going to be a hard drive issue. If it doesn't turn off, then it's likely going to be something on the HDMI circuit. So it should be relatively straightforward either way. And hopefully we can get it fixed and make a nice amount of profit, because this is in fairly good condition as well. So if we can get this fixed, then it should be a decent amount of profit. We should not double our money, but we'll get pretty close. I don't think it's a hard drive, which is good, because that means it should be fairly cheap to fix it. Okay, it's been on for over a minute and still no display, and it's not turned off. I'm going to move the cables out of the way. And I'm going to get this thing disassembled. And there we go. Look at that magic. Okay, so I'm just going to get the heatsink off. One annoying thing I noticed about this was where the sink connector goes. There's two screws that go in here, these two little screws. And these were in the wrong place. There was no screws in these. I don't think it's been opened in an attempt to repair it. I think it's been opened in the past for cleaning. I don't think there's been any prior repair attempt on this. And I'm not really bothered if there was anyway, because it's not going to change the outcome. Not really. So when we've got no display and it's not the hard drive, generally it's only one of two things. Well, one of three things actually. Either the HDMI port, the HDMI retimer chip or redriver, whatever you want to call it, or it's the ESD boost IC. If it's the ESD boost IC, then we're in a little bit of trouble, because you can't actually buy them. I do have a couple, but you can't buy them. I have a couple which I've taken from donor boards. Now the problem is, how do I gauge the price on that in terms of cost of parts? Because I took them off a donor board. It's a tiny little chip just here. I took it off a donor board, so I really don't know. The ones for the 1S, the same chip on the 1S, well, it's a different chip, but it's just the same. But the one from the 1S, that is basically, I think, around about £2 for the chip, something like that. So I don't know, but we just can't actually buy those. They're not sold anywhere. Alright, so let's have a look at the HDMI circuit under the microscope. We'll see what's going on. Okay, here's a HDMI circuit in full. And what I want to do is just test a couple of components around here. So first I'm going to inspect the HDMI port. What's that? What is that under there? Is that a bridge, or is it just a little bit of crap? Okay, so it's going to be this pin here and the one to the right of it. Whoops, I just dropped it. So this pin here and the one to the right of it. And we have no continuity there, so that's absolutely fine. So the multimeter is in continuity mode there, and that's not got a continuous path. I think it's just a bit of crap. And you'll probably find that's just cleared it out. Yeah, it's a bit of crap. Alright. So let's take a look here then. So this is the HDMI encoder, redriver, retimer, whatever you want to call it. And one way we can check that is we can go into resistance mode and just read the resistance on C50 and see what the resistance is to ground. And we get 10k, 9,000 ohms. It is dropping a bit, but that's not a bad reading at all. Now, sometimes it comes up with basically a reading in the low hundreds, and that tells me for sure that it's bad. But if it's in the thousands, then it could still be bad, but it's not guaranteed. So let's just check in continuity mode then, and let's just see if we get any kind of weird readings on the ESD boost IC. So I'm in continuity mode. I've got one probe on ground. So that's a ground there, as you can see. And I'm looking for shorts on these lines. Okay, so there's no shorts on the ESDIC. That's good, because like I said, we can't actually buy those. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the HDMI encoder anyway, because the chances are it's probably the encoder. So I'm going to change that, and if it's not that, then it's probably going to be the ESDIC. But you don't want to be taking that ESDIC off. It's a BGA, and that would mean reboarding it just to get it back on. So I'm going to put a new TDP158 on. That's the part number for this chip. Fairly common issue. I've got a brand new one right there. These cost me about £4. So if I can get this fixed for £4, then absolutely awesome. Okay, so add a little bit of flux here. And I got my hot air set at 450 degrees Celsius here. There we go. Chip removed. And let's get a new chip in its place. So I'm going to get this in the right orientation. Pin number 1 in the bottom right. I'm just going to flow it down slightly. So I'm going to reduce the temperature of the hot air to 420 now to put the chip back on. And the reason for that is because I don't want to damage it with heat. So if I'm removing a chip, I don't really care about overheating the chip. If I'm installing a chip, obviously I don't want to end up damaging or degrading that chip. Whoops. Okay, the chip is kind of tacked down. Actually, it's not at all. Never mind, it's fine. Flux will hold it in place. Come on. Ah, this chip. Wow, what is going on with me today? I cannot solder a chip. Alright, I'm going to have to change the solder. I don't know what's going on with me today. I can't solder for nothing. I'm not even joking. I don't know what's going on. Just can't seem to keep my hands still. I can usually do this, I swear. I'm not usually this bad. Alright, I'm going to just take some fresh leaded solder. Put a bit in the middle as well. Just reheating those pads. Alright, I'm knocking my airflow down. 20%. Okay. Alright, let's just clean up these edges. Make sure there's enough solder on each pad. Alright. Let's just clean up. So I'll just use a bit of IPA and a toothbrush. Dry it off. And let me just inspect it. Perfect that side. Perfect that side as well. So that means it will be lined up on all sides. Right, so when I eventually got the hang of soldering, it wasn't that bad. Honestly, I don't know what happened then. I just couldn't keep my hands still, couldn't keep the chip still. I honestly just don't know. Right, that is factory thermal paste. So I think this has just been opened for a basic service, you know, like cleaning the vents out, cleaning the fan out, that sort of stuff. I don't think it's ever been opened and fully disassembled. Okay, here we go. It turns on. Let's plug the fan in. There we go. Here's a question. Is it going to display on the TV? No. That's not good. That's not good. Let's just flip this upside down because that's the way it goes inside the case. Have I had a faulty chip again? Okay, it doesn't even recognise. It's on the right input source, but it doesn't recognise. I'm going to try hooking up another hard drive. Or have I had yet another faulty chip? Alright, replacement hard drive. So, not on the official caddy, but I'm not bothered. Just want to see if it works. Turn it on. It's the hard drive, it's not the retimer. That's annoying. Oh, it's not annoying. I mean, it should have shut off. It should have shut off. I'm just going to pop this into the computer. So, Chris from iFix Consoles actually had this exact same thing the other day. He had an issue with no display, and even though it didn't shut off after 30 seconds, it was the hard drive. Which is why we always test it to make sure. I don't want to go ripping that ESD IC off for no reason. Let's plug this in the computer. Okay, that's strange. It's actually loading up the partitions. Let's just have a look. Is it corrupted? Or is it just coincidence that it showed up the second time? Okay, I think it's corrupted. So it's taking a while to load up some of these partitions. This is probably going to come up as warning. Alright, so I'm going to keep trying to load that hard drive on the computer. It could just be corrupted. It might not be a bad drive. I'm not going to rule it out until I see it loading crystal disk info. But basically, I'm going to reload OSU 1 onto the drive that I've just installed, because chances are it's going to be needing a format anyway. And the drive that I've just installed is a spare hard drive. And it's the same, it's like for like. It's going to cost me £20 if I have to replace it. If this hard drive comes back as good, then I won't remove any, or rather I won't take any money off the parts cost for the repair. But if it does come back as bad, then I'm going to have to take £20 back, because that's what an average price of a hard drive is going to cost me. But I've got OSU 1 on here, which is going to be able to install the software back onto this Xbox and get it up and running properly. So I'm going to plug this in. There we go. And let's use this new controller, shall we? Or rather, this controller that came with it. Okay, so I've got no sync button connected, so I'm going to have to connect it up through USB and sync it that way. So we just take the USB. So the retimer was good. The retimer was good all along. Or rather, it probably is. So I'm not going to remove that retimer just to check that one, but it's probably good. Okay, so that's synced. Unplug it. Stay synced. Wireless is working. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to run through the setup. It's a little bit awkward here. It's really tight. I've got no room at all. But basically, I'm going to go to troubleshoot and then offline system update because I've got the USB in there. That's basically highlighting and allowing me to select that option. So we'll go for that. And there we go. So that's going to update. That is the latest OSU one. But that's going to update. I'm going to let that run through. And yeah, let's hope it all works at the end of it. Okay, I've left this for 10 minutes and it appears to be done, which is cool. Enable enhanced features, blah de blah de blah. Let's get this done. Keep new settings. Works in 4K. Skip signing. Excellent. Okay, so this appears to be working. I do need to do some more tests to it, obviously, make sure that it's all working properly. But it appears to be absolutely fine. Let me find a disc. I've got a case full of them here. This comes for free in the console. Let's just see if it loads a disc. A little bit noisy on the disk drive there. I wonder if this console's been dropped. Right, so it's loading a disc. It is picking the disc up. Is it reading what the disc is? Yes, it is. Don't like the sound of that disk drive. I don't like the sound of that drive. That is a little bit iffy. Let me get the disc out. Okay, it's not showing up with the eject thing on there, so never mind. Let's just turn it off. I'll leave the disc in there for now. That's fine. Funnily enough, Crystal Disk Info still hasn't loaded, but I don't like the sound of the disk drive at all. Doesn't sound healthy. I hope I haven't got to put another disk drive in, because that eats into profits. I think this console's been dropped, which would explain the damage to the hard drive. So I don't think the retimer was bad at all. I think I can probably put that into my case and just keep it as a spare. So lesson learnt on that one. Alright, so that's taken apart. Let's just pair it back up and just see what's actually going on with it. Actually, let's inject some voltage and get that disk drive out first. So I've got my test probes hooked up to the bench supply, and if I just, it's that way, there we go. Basically activate the motor and force the disc to come out. Alright, so now that I've done that, I can, well, first of all, just stretch that fully and then retract it. And then I'm going to turn it back on again. And let's just insert a disc. Let's see what's going on with it. Alright, it's rectified itself. It's realigned itself. That's fine. I'm fine with that. These Xbox disk drives are fairly
resilient, to be honest. Tend to realign themselves. But the hard drive is very, very sensitive, and I'm imagining that's what's caused this fault. I think it's been dropped. Never mind. Right, okay, so time to get all of this mess put back together then. So let's just get this screwed back in first of all. And I'm going to fast forward through all of this reassembly process. I've got to swap the hard drive over to the caddy as well. Right then, so I just checked on the recording, and I'm glad I did, because I'd finished this part of the video, but the video corrupted. I don't know why. Something to do with this hard drive sending everything doolally. But never mind. It is what it is. It's all good. There's the console, all working. And I'm going to confirm once again, just to show it on video, that it's working. And then I'm going to get it sold. I do have a plan as well, by the way. So I did go over this, but unfortunately the last part of the video decided it no longer wanted to be part of the YouTube series. So yeah, what can you do? Anyway, there we have it. And there you go. So it's missing the boot logo. I can't show the boot logo because it's missing. But when I run an update, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run an update on the console from in the house. And the reason for that is because I can use an Ethernet cable. And I can also play a game for 10 minutes. So I can download a game, play a game, make sure it doesn't glitch or anything like that, make sure there's no further issues. But the console itself is working. It's syncing a controller. The sync button works. The front panel works. The eject button works. So everything's working, and there don't seem to be any issues. But I do still need to make sure that it's going to play a game. Obviously, you know, I'm not going to sit here in the workshop in the freezing cold and download a game and then play it. I'd rather do that in the house. When I run an update, it will ask me to update. It'll be a 1.1 gigabyte update, and then when it does ask me to update, it'll install the green screen for me, the boot logo, and the 4K Xbox One X logo as well. So it'll install all of that for me, so I'm not really worried about that. As soon as I run the update, it'll fix those little niggly bits. But basically what I've got planned for this is I don't really want to wait 2 to 3 days for the grips to come for this. So I'm going to put my own controller with it. I'm going to put one of the Xbox Series X controllers with it, which I bought for £20 and basically £3 to fix them, which is probably around about the same as what I would pay for one of these anyway. This come with the console. So overall, it's cost me £100 for this console. It's cost me £80 for the console itself, and then £20 for the hard drive. So I'm going to get this fully fixed. I'm going to get the boot logo installed. I'm going to test it for 10 to 20 minutes, make sure that it doesn't glitch out or anything like that. And then I'm going to list it on all of the popular sites. eBay, Facebook, Gumtree, Spock. Used Warsaw is a site that I use around here, or Used West Midlands. It's just basically a classified ad site. And yeah, there's quite a few sites that I can use to list this. I'm going to list this boxed for, I think, £190. I think. Try and get pretty close to doubling my money. If I have to sell it on eBay, then I'm going to end up paying £20 to £25 in fees plus shipping. I would much rather sell it locally, but I will list it on eBay. It's going to cost me 36p to list on eBay. And then basically, if it sells, it sells. But if it sells on Facebook or another free classified site in the meantime, then I can just take it down on eBay. So I'm going to get this listed. I do have some more stuff on the way which I'm going to be looking at in this video, so I am going to pause the video here and I'll resume when some more stuff turns up. Right, okay, ladies and gents, it's been a few days and unfortunately I completely forgot that I was meant to finish this episode. I've already started filming episode 5. The Xbox One X has already sold, but basically the next episode is going to contain quite a few items. It's going to be pretty fun, but I have received an envelope. It took a while to come, but what can you expect for free postage? So inside this envelope are the thumb grips for this Xbox controller. So obviously I can't put this with the One X, but I can sell it on its own. Either that, or I can basically sell it with another console later on down the line. So let's get this fixed and then we can get on to buying some other things. Okay, so as you can see, this is the same controller. Still got the batteries in. Must make sure that I don't leave them in there when I get rid of it. So let's just pull that sticker back. There we go. And I'm going to keep this as a spare because it's not in terrible condition, but it's not in great condition either. And I have two brand new thumbsticks. So that one can just go in the bin. There's one. And two. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to clean around the edges, get rid of some of this gunk that's been stuck on there. And I'm going to do that using some isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush. Okay, and that's all of the parts cleaned. So what I want to do now is replace the analog stick. So if you remember from earlier on in the video, this analog stick here was a little bit loud. So I want to replace that, and basically then I can sell it as a fully refurbished controller. So I'm going to get this vibration motor off. There we go. So there's the old one, and here is a replacement. So this has come off a controller out of a job lot, and the controller on the job lot I could fix but wasn't worth fixing. It had a little bit too much wrong. Okay, and let's add a tad of flux, just a teeny tiny bit, just to freshen the joints up. Don't want to put too much there. We don't want it seeping into the buttons. There we go. And there we go. Cool. Just got to clean the outside of here. And there we go. Beautiful. Looking absolutely gorgeous, of course. Batteries. And genuine Xbox back cover. Okay. So I'm going to sync this up to the computer. I'm going to give it a quick test. Let's go test option and turn on vibration. Start testing. Select the controller. Let's go. Excellent. No stick drift. Same with that one. Feel great as well. And it sounds a lot quieter. There we have it. One perfectly refurbished controller. So these I'm not really keen on doing anymore, but it's nice to do it for a change every now and again. This is the standard that I used to refurb my controllers to when I used to do this to actually earn money. And they're not that bad to do. They're not hard to do. They're just a little bit tedious once you've done, a few hundred like I did back in the day. But yeah, that's fairly high standard, really, really clean. The only issue on this is there's a little scratch in the top right corner. I don't think that's going to affect the price that it sells for. I should be able to sell this for about £30, so it's not bad.
Hey everyone, as you can see, I'm in my car right now. And the reason that I'm in my car is because I've just been to the post office to drop off a power supply for the Xbox One S from episode number 2. And the reason that I'm dropping that off is because I sold it on eBay for £18. I've actually sold about 5 of them on eBay for £18 in the past few days. But one of them, obviously, is the power supply from the Xbox One S from episode number 2. I did look for any kind of issues on that board again, but obviously I bought that off myself anyway, so it wouldn't really have been fair if I'd have managed to fix it and then just said, oh yeah, fine, I'll reuse it for the challenge. But I have looked at it and unfortunately I still can't fix it. So it is definitely a donor board. But I gave myself £15 for that because obviously it was, it was just completely foobarred, and I don't think there was any chance of me ever getting that working fully and being able to trust it. Another couple of updates is I purchased a couple of motherboards off eBay. I was going to rebuild the Xbox, but I purchased a couple of motherboards supposed to be as completely dead no power. I had a quick look at them on a stream and it turned out that they were beep on beep off. Now, as many people will know who watch this channel on a regular basis, I don't like beep on beep off issues. They are a rabbit hole, especially when the boards are in pristine condition like those was, and basically no signs of any kind of damage. There can be a rabbit hole, they're not worth buying, and that was not what I purchased off eBay. So I sent them back and the seller was really reasonable. He accepted the fact that they were listed wrong and that it was his error, and he is offering me a refund when he gets them back. So that was basically £25.99 per board. I've also sold last night, and I'll put a little screenshot up in the corner, but I've also sold last night to a friend of mine actually, a Xbox One X, the one from this episode, for £160. So I've made a little bit of money on that. It did have a hard drive, as you can see earlier on in the video, and I did replace the retimer, but it wasn't causing the issue, so I put the other retimer back into my part bin because, it's most likely good. So the issue was with the hard drive. So we had a hard drive, and a 1TB hard drive you can generally pick up for £20 second hand. So that come off the total cost, so it was £100. And then also I added a Xbox Series X controller to the listing, or to the item, which cost me £23. So £123 in total for that, but I do still have that other controller, the 1708 model. Because that was a cash deal, that has totaled, I believe, £37 in profit. Not a great deal. It sucks a little bit because the hard drive was faulty, but obviously that added to the cost, and I have still got the controller, which I'll make probably £20 to £25 on anyway. But another update is that I've just looked on my eBay and I've won some more items. So I'm going to screen capture my phone right now. I want to try and pay for them now. It is around about 2:45 PM. So I'm going to screen capture my phone because I want to pay for them right now, because I want to try and get them sent out today. Time is of the essence, and obviously with the motherboards that I originally intended to fix for this episode, they have had to go back. So it sucks, but it's just one of them things. Sometimes you can't help it. Right, okay, so I'm on my eBay right now, and as you can see, I've got some items here which I've won. So the first one is going to be the A1466, which is a Coke spill. I've already paid for that. That cost me just over £80. And we've also got an Xbox One S disc edition, and if we take a look here at the description, white Xbox One S disc edition, spares or repairs. Through testing, I believe the fan controller is broken, as the included fan does not spin, but when plugged into my fully working Xbox, it does spin. And this was up for £60, and I sent a best offer of £40, and I won it, so let's pay for that. And there we go, payment pending. The next item is going to be this, which was another best offer which was accepted.
I sent a best offer of £50 and they sent me a weird offer of £59.58, and that's for a Nintendo Switch. So just one photo here. I don't know the serial number, I don't know whether it's going to be exploitable, but it's a pretty good price. And this is off a private seller. It says Nintendo Switch for parts, not sure what's wrong, don't have time to try and fix, it does not power on. So should be interesting. Let's pay for this. And done. And the final item is going to be Microsoft Xbox wireless controller, white, faulty. So there's two pictures here. As you can see, it's got the original back, which is absolutely awesome. So Xbox One S controller, this is a 1708 model. I can tell by the shape of the front case. And as you can see here, Microsoft Xbox wireless controller, white, faulty, works fine on cable but doesn't turn on with wireless. Also mixing on left joystick. I tried to fix it but I messed it up even more, so this is going to be fun. Let's pay for that. And there we go. We have 3 items successfully paid for and ready to be dispatched. So we've got 4 things coming for episode number 5. So we've got a MacBook, we've got an Xbox One S, we've got a Nintendo Switch, and we've got a Xbox One S controller. These are going to be fun, and I'm really looking forward to episode number 5. So there we go. As you can see, it's going to be interesting. Episode 5 just got fun because that is a lot of items, and not only that, but it's high value items. This series is going absolutely fantastic so far. I didn't expect it to go this well, but obviously it is. And we're making quite a bit of decent money. So I'm actually going to leave it there for this video because I think it's going to be a little bit long. It's definitely going to be interesting in episode number 5, and I'm really looking forward to it. If I can fix everything, then it's going to be a really big profit, basically. The Xbox One S, if I put that with the controller, the white controller, we've got to think here. If I put that with that white controller, I can sell that on eBay for around about £170. Shouldn't have a problem. I should be able to sell that for around about £170. So I shouldn't have an issue at all selling that console. The one weird thing is it says something about the fan controller. Now that's strange, and it's going to be interesting to see what the cause is. I don't know if the console turns on. I haven't got a clue if the console turns on. So someone's about to crash into me, but pretty close there. Never mind. I actually thought he was going to hit me then, but yeah. So obviously I'm parked up in a car park right now. But basically, the Xbox One S is going to be really interesting. Hopefully I can fix that. Hopefully I can fix the controller, and then I can throw those as a bundle and make some decent money. And I also have a box as well, because I did purchase an Xbox One S boxed, which was supposed to be for the challenge, and then I ended up having to relist the Xbox One X because the buyer didn't pay. The first buyer didn't pay. So basically I tried to fix that, couldn't fix it, so now I've got a box spare which I can value at like £10 or whatever they go for, and I can put it all as a box and sell it. It's getting close to Christmas. We're in October. It is the middle of October right now. We've got 2 months until Christmas. It's about to get real. But I'm going to leave it there for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I know there's not been much fixing in this one. It's been more updates and whatever. But yeah, not everything goes to plan, obviously. So I obviously need to get this video out as soon as possible. I mean, it is Monday now and I've got to edit it ready for the end of the week. So time is of the essence. I need to get this video edited and I need to get it sorted. So basically I'm going to leave it there for this video. Hopefully the next episode we're going to make some serious cash, and hopefully we can fix everything that we buy. The MacBook I'm really looking forward to. But that's going to be for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to check out the other episodes if you haven't watched them yet. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye for now.